back to the cards. You get your client to put the priority and then the timeline. And here's when we start getting a little bit more realistic. And the bigger the goal, the longer the timeline. So some of the timelines are 2005. Some of them are 2025. Like I've got quite a few goals that I'm setting out to do when I'm between 70 and 80. Like learn to play the piano, organize my journal. I've kept a detailed journal since I was 13, and when I'm between 70 and 80, I'm going to organize it. Sort the family pictures. Next winter, we'll do that. C. So you put the timeline on these. Now, people say, well, I don't know when. Just make something up. Yeah, but I'm not sure. You know, just write something down. Because as soon as you write it down, it'll either look too soon or too far, or just right. If it looks too soon, erase it and write down a further out timeline. And of course, you put all these in a box, and you come back and look at them in a week or two, and then you change all this again. Because priorities change, goals change, timelines change. And people argue that, well, what if you keep changing it, what's the value? Well, the value is clarity. And also the value is the experience that people have when doing this, that they get what they want. These cards are like magic. And of course, it's not the card. It's the act of writing and the act of clarity. Also on this card, I recommend you have your client list any partners that he or she might want to have as part of achieving this goal. This is an optional piece of the card. I mean, so is priority and timeline, but the power of the goal is enhanced when we're clear about the priority and we have a time frame. And actually, the accomplishment of a goal is enhanced when we have partners, when we're not in it alone. And then begin to categorize the goal and subcategories of the goal and subcategories of the goal so that we can begin to sort and organize these. Possible categories, you know, you have a bunch of health goals, and you have career goals, and financial goals, and relationship goals. And then under each one of these, you can have subcategories. So, for example, under health, you could have exercise, nutrition, meditation, and relaxation. Under career, well, you got the idea. Under relationships, you could have family relationships, work relationships. And then under those, you could have sub-goals. Then you take all these cards and you begin to spread them out and put all your family goals here and your work goals over here. And then you start to sort these into A's at the top and C's down here and B's over here. And then you put you just begin to have this big picture of life spread all over the floor or a huge table. Oh, wait a minute, though. I begin to see I don't have hardly anything under health. Oh, well, what do I want? With regard to health, what do I want? You write down a new card. And then another new card. Then you begin to look and say, gee, you know, I don't have any goals that are longer than 5 years. So you start writing what you want in 10 years, 20 years. When you retire. Now, most of the time when people begin to do this, they write 40, 50 cards and they're done for a week. Then they write 40 or 50 more, and then they begin to develop this muscle called imagining, creating, visualizing the future. And watch out, because then the future begins to be clear. And once it begins to be clear, then it's more likely that they can get it. How is powerful when it generates more cards? So this is what you can have your client do is they'll have a card, new car. You say, well, how? So, well, find the one I want for sure. Good. How else? Well, get the money. Good. How else? Well, get permission from you and Dad. Good. Well, how else? Well, get my license. Okay, good. How else? Well, because I got to get insurance. Yeah, write that down. Good. How else? Well, I don't know. I think that's it. No problem. Now go back through those and ask how again. First one was What car? How? Well, go shopping for cars. How? Well, Consumer Report, read Consumer Report. Well, how do I find out which car? Ask my friends. How do I find out? Test drive. How do I find out? Oh, look in those car magazines. How do I find out? No, that's enough. Then you go to the next card, which is, of course I need more cards for my example, but then you go to the next card, which is get the money. You say, well, how to get the money? Well, get a job. Well, how to get the money? Ask mom and dad. How to get the money? Use some of my savings. How to get the money? Ask mom and dad for part of it. How to get the money? Well, I don't know. I'm stuck. Okay, well, no problem. Go to the next card, which was find the insurance, I guess. And you ask how again. And then you begin to sort them, relate to them, see how realistic they are, prioritize them, put timelines by them, throw some of them away. But it's that asking how that generated more and more and more cards. And for anything that's very important to somebody, they can generate easily 100 cards. It's really what I was doing on the first day of coaching. When I was working with Martha that first day, I was just asking how, and I didn't use the word because I'd already told you don't use how. But that's what we were doing. We're just generating a whole lot of hows. And if you note, at one point I even stopped the big picture about how, and I went to one of her detailed plans, because one of her detailed plans was about the center. And then I started talking about the details of the center. So we were building this tree structure of many, many goals, many, many paths to the end result.